going to change the side cover pan on a this is a Chrysler Town & Country 2004. Has an A604 transmission in there. Okay, it's on the driver's side. You want to first take the wheels off, the studs off. So these are 19 millimeter. Now we got access to the transmission side pan right here. Right here, you see this one here is leaking right here. Also is rusty right up here. It's rusted right here. It's no good. See that's rusty. So sweating here because the rusty is coming through. That's why it's wet right there, and it's leaking down here. So these are number 10 bolts. I'm gonna take these off. On this pan here. Some places or some vans might have a plastic that goes around here. You have to take the plastic off. This one didn't have the plastic. We can go right to it. Now ideally, when changing this, sometimes it's best to drop the pan to let the fluid completely run all the way out. That's so that you won't have anything running here once you take it off to stop this adhesion process of the silicone. So okay, number 10s, we're going to take those off. Okay, these are number 10 bolts. We're going to take these out. Okay, when taking those out, before you pop the cover off, always make sure you got a pan underneath to catch the fluid. And you're going to take this cover off. Okay, take a little screwdriver or something there, and you're going to get this out. Really, it's best to do this at the top. This is no good. As you can see, there's a hole in there. You see the hole right there? Hole right in the pan. That's rusted through. Alright, so we're going to clean this up with a sand pad or a wire wheel or whatever you can. If you don't have that, you got to use your hand. And ideally, as I mentioned before, right here, this oil will drip, drip, drip. The best way to make sure it don't drip a lot of times is to take this pan off so the oil can all drip out. But we're going to see what we can do here. We're going to put another pan on here. silicone this. Let's get started. Okay. Okay, the purpose for sanding this a bit is rough surface allows silicone to stick better. So you also want to sand around the pan where the silicone is going to be because of it allowing it to stick better. Painters do that all the time. When they wet sand a car because the paint will stick better. So let me clean this down. I want to clean this down with some brake cleaner. This right here is leaking. I'll show you what to do with that. You got to be quick, because we want the surface to be clean. Okay, you want to clean this of oil. What I did, I sprayed some brake clean on a rag. You'll see this part here is still dripping. Something you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to do it quick. I'm cleaning up to that, and then I'm going to clean it, let this dry a bit here. This pan here, I'm going to take this pan and I'm going to put silicone all around this pan. Now the way this looks is just like this, with all the silicone going all around on the side of the pan. And you're going to put this on here, but you got to be ready. You got to do this fast because remember, this is dripping here. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. Now you're going to have to gauge this very fast. First of all, you're going to clean this. It's steady leaking, so I'm going to clean this like this with the rag. Alright? Now this still had that film of oil on there. Okay? That's why I say you have to be fast on this one. I do with the brake cleaner. Sucking out as much as you can. What I have is transmission assembly lube. But if you don't have this assembly lube, then you're going to have to use Vaseline or something. The ideal situation is turn the car upside down. If you can't turn it upside down, you got to come up with another way. You're trying to stop this. We got a few seconds before this builds up. Okay. Once you get that silicone on, that foil won't normally go. Doesn't normally bother it. Yeah. All right, so that made sure that I didn't have a greasy surface. Used that grease to hold that oil back. Cleaned it with the brake cleaner very quickly so I can get the silicone onto a very good surface. All right. Now I'm gonna go on and put the rest of the bolts in. Alright, so what you saw me do is put some grease in here. The purpose of that, it was a transmission assembly lube. That's to hold that fluid back so I can clean that surface of residual oil from the transmission fluid so I can have the silicone stick against a clean surface. Didn't want any oil in between the silicone and the surface it had to stick to. So you had to do that fast because it would build up behind it. So you had to keep going until you got it, clean that area, put that silicone, and then you'd be fine there. They kind of similarly use that when they're soldering pipe. My grandfather used to put some bread inside there because if it's water in the pipe, water would stop it from heating up enough to solder it. So he would take bread and put it inside the pipe and then heat it up and solder it real quick. And then the solder will hold, and then the water would just, bread would just, like, you know, how it melts and just go through the pipe, and that's it. So now what you can do, a lot of times I like to let this sit for a while. This is that good silicone, which is adhesive silicone. Not all silicone is the same. There's some silicone that was set up quick. It's more like rubbery when it like an unnatural type of rubbery texture when it cures. This here is the type that when it cures, it's like what you get from the dealership. Or what comes off Chrysler. It adheres to it real good. So I use that. Now I'll let this sit a bit, and then I'll put the wheel back on. You can paint this if you want with some Rust-Oleum to try to get it from not rusting through like that other one did, that way it just took off. You know, spray paint it, and then that's it. Next thing you do, put the wheel back on, put the fluid back in, and then you're ready to go. This is changing the side cover on a 604 transmission or A41TE transmission.